Welcome to the mysteries. Today we're going to be giving a presentation on the mysteries of Joseph and the coat of many colors in hopes of diving into the esoteric mysteries that are hidden within the scriptures. As we know, the ancient lore or the ancient systems or traditions veiled the truth of the higher realms and the higher nature of man and put them into stories. These stories have been passed down orally and then finally inscribed, and finally now in the age of Aquarius to be scribed on our hearts, so that we are living divine mediums of that one and only truth. So today we're going to be reading from some Alvin Boy Kuhn. We're going to be going over a quick presentation on Joseph and the coat of many colors and see if we can extract the spiritual meaning from that. So go ahead and share my screen. As we could see here, we have the mysteries of Joseph, esoteric science. Now, in the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors, it's very interesting. So Jacob, we know Jacob means the heel catcher. We know that the signs of the zodiac on the celestial vault starts at Aries at the head and ends at Pisces, the feet. Here in the diagram, you see Aries being the head, Pisces being the feet. So we have Jacob, the heel catcher. Now Jacob ends up being the father of Joseph. So in this story, Joseph is the innermost soul, the spark, and we have Jacob being more the inner father archetype. So once that inner or spiritual archetype sends forth the spirit to descend on its cycle of incarnation to become individualized, as we see, the soul acquires the bodies of the planets on its way down. It also veils the 7 planets and is veiled with the 7 conditions: Mars, Venus, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn. Also those 7 chakras, those 7 tonalities, each one with different information, each one a conduit for a different cosmic intelligent force, a different aspect or ray of deity. Now, as Joseph in the story, Jacob, his son, he has 3 brothers, and then Joseph. So he has the 4 sons, Joseph and his 3 brothers. Now, the 3 brothers are kind of jealous of Joseph because Joseph is always kind of witty and childlike humor, and they kind of are more serious, and they're related to the 3 aspects of the body: the physical, astral, and mental body, but disordered. And then you have Joseph, who is given the coat of many colors because he's favored by Jacob. So figuratively, we see Jacob being the father archetype, incarnating the soul, and the soul acquires the bodies of the planets and the tonalities on its way down into the physical realm. So this is the allegory of Joseph acquiring the coat of many colors. Now, here's a quote from the Bible. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. But because, of course, the higher mind, Jacob, the son, is giving its attention to the innermost soul, the spark, the seed, Joseph within ourself, which is the initiate on the journey. It's the soul acquiring these fundamental forces, capabilities, and also detriments as it comes down from the spirit world and goes down the 7 spheres, the 7 portal spheres, and ends up coming down into the toroidal field of this realm here. So as you can see, the brothers actually get jealous and put Joseph in a pit because they're at enmity with the spirit. The physical body, the mental body, and the astral body are agitated when the soul first comes into matter and rebels against the spirit. So you have Joseph as the son of Jacob and one of the 12 brothers. He's given a coat of many colors by his father, which is symbolic of his favor and an object of his brother's jealousy. The brothers decide to sell Joseph into slavery after initially plotting to have him killed. So why are they selling him into slavery? Because the son here, on an astrological, anagogical level, and the son essentially gets sold into slavery here, and right here when the seasons turn from fall into winter. So you have the scales of Libra, it's judged and weighed and down into slavery or Egypt. So this is the kingdom of heaven is the spring and summer months. That's the kingdom of heaven, or the land flowing of milk and honey, or the promised land. And then you have Egypt, or the Pharaoh's domain, And in ancient alchemical lore, we know that Egypt always meant anything below the heart chakra. So the animal chakras or the animal nature, whatever you want to call it, whether Eastern tradition, Western tradition, doesn't differ. So the soul descends into this physical, incarnational, fleshly matter, aka brothers get jealous and put Joseph in a pit. And this is the same as when Moses is captured and is enslaved, and it's the same story as John is beheaded. He's put in prison and he's beheaded. John the Baptist loses his head, of course, because the sun loses its head. Samson loses his hair. Joseph loses freedom. He's put in a pit, right? So he's the sun going down into winter months, which also the soul incarnating into the physical matter, becoming entangled. Three brothers, the three bodies are in enmity. And then since Joseph is the holy spark or the divine seed, that soul overcomes the physical realm, achieves mastery over it. So Joseph is sold into slavery. The soul is enslaved philosophically in matter. The physical world is Egypt, same as Moses going to Egypt to free the Israelites. Joseph is sold to slavery, Egypt, which is the physical realm. And Joseph is the developing soul or the spark in man. Jacob is the monad in a sense. And it's when the soul is sent on its journey into matter and acquires the coat of many colors to the various planetary archetypes in the development of these tones within. So the brothers betray are the three vehicles of the body and the astral before being purified by the divine. Joseph and Jacob being the divine. Once sold into slavery, Joseph ends up outsmarting and becoming the lord of the place he was sold. This symbolizing the soul's ability to conquer matter and overcome the material realm. So even though he was sold into slavery, he ends up overcoming anyway. Just like Moses, he ended up overcoming too, and he became leader of the camp. We all have to become leader of the camp. The camp is the physical realm. We all have to become leaders of the camp by allowing our soul, our inner higher mind, our inner purified consciousness to help evaporate all the lusty desires and purify them. Purify these three vehicles: the physical body, the mind, the astral. So these are the three brothers that then come begging for alms. After selling him to slavery, they don't even know that he's the lord of the camp now. They're coming to beg from alms to him, and he still forgives them, gives them what they need, and he even warns them of a spiritual drought or a drought. I say spiritual, but in the Bible it's said to be, it's written as if it's literal history. But of course, this is all spiritual transcendental science. So the sun is thrown into the pit of winter. The soul is thrown into the pit of material existence, only to acquire the knowledge and the wisdom, and in order to experience these polarities, in order to develop. And once it develops, it ascends. So it's a solar initiate journey. The story of Joseph mimics the sun, as well as our own internal spiritual processes that happen in cycles. It also carries similar themes to other books of the Bible. Now, I'm going to be reading a bit from Alvin Boyd Kuhn, The Lost Light. Now, Alvin Boyd Kuhn, he was a very, very, very interesting person. And I think you'll realize that just from me reading this prologue here. Again, this is the book, The Lost Light. And you can get the free PDF on Google. So let's have a look here. Coming forth in a day when theology has long been discredited, even in its own ecclesiastical household, and religion itself is threatened with obliteration by rampant forces hostile to it. This book aims to rehabilitate theology and to stabilize true religion. It must be said that at the very outset, and with blunt instance, that it is for religion and not in any way against it. It is written to establish religion again as the cornerstone of human culture, when civilization is largely turned away from it to seek elsewhere the guiding light. This is designed to redeem divine theology from her outcast condition and place her again beside philosophy and science on the throne in the kingdom of man's mind. So he goes on to say here, And the next link is seen when it is considered that this physical body is for the soul the house of death, and in its regenerative phase, the house of rebirth. It is the house into which the spirit descends to its partial obscuration in the darkness of the grave of matter, into the night of death or incarnation. So this is when Joseph, right, he acquires the coat of many colors, but then the brothers come and they put him in the pit. So that symbolizes the soul kind of entering the pit or house of death, which is the physical body, which, if you ask me, I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? It said that since the souls comes from immortal realms of bliss, love, and light, this realm being the most dense, it's not surprising to see that we're still up and alive, because we're so full of life that we can never experience a full death in the sense of reality, and in the sense this is death, the physical realm. So tragedy dies in laughter. Little could the ancient mythologists and sages have foreseen that the fabulous narrations which their genius devised to cloak high truth would end up plaguing the mind of the Western world, with 16 centuries of unconscionable stultification. They could not possibly imagine that their allegorical constructions to dramatize spiritual truth would so miscarry from their hidden intent as to cast the mental life of the half the world for ages under the cloud of the most grotesque superstition known to history. So essentially what he's saying is that when we lose the light of the scriptures and we take them literally, then we're not able to extract the full spiritual meaning. Now, of course, there's all the Bible stories were made into even kids' cartoons because you can extract a moral lesson. There's the moral, the literary, the astrological, the astral, theological, the biochemical, and the anagogical. So God works in such a mysterious ways that he's sealed this book with 7 seals. And I hope this video has helped you comprehend how to extract and kind of read esoteric science on a more intrinsic level. Thank you.